Alright, next we'll look at elementary row operations. So there are a few rules for this elementary row operations. Okay, so the first rule is that you can interchange any two rows. Okay, so what do I mean by you can interchange any two rows? For example, ABC, DEF, GHI. You can interchange any of the two rows. For example, if I want to interchange row 1 with row 2, all I need to write is just this. If you have ever learned about the reversible equation in chemistry, this is how we write it also. So I want to exchange row 1 with row 2. Row 1 exchange with row 2, and then underneath I write a bigger arrow. Okay, the one that is not changed is row 3, so I write row 3 first, GHI. So row 1 exchange with row 2, so row 1 is now row 2 and row 2 become row 1. Okay, so this is the first rule. You can interchange any of the two rows. Interchange row 1 with row 2, row 1 with row 3, row 2 with row 3 is also okay. Okay, so this is the first rule. You can interchange any of the two rows. And second rule is you can multiply a row by a scalar. So okay, you can multiply just a row with a specific number that you want. So what we'll write is, if you say, let's say k, a constant k multiplied by row 2 for the change of row 2. This is how we write it. Means we multiply row 2 by k. Multiply row 2 by k. Okay, then what you get is row 1 and row 3 nothing happens, just that row 2 all multiplied by k. So originally DEF, now it's D multiplied by k, E multiplied by k, and F multiplied by k. Okay, and then the third rule is you can add or subtract another row. Add or subtract with another row. For example, I want to use the row 1 to minus row 2. So I'll write it as, and I want to change it for row 2. I'll write it as row 2, okay, row 1 minus row 2 for row 2. And write a big arrow at the bottom. So row 1 nothing happens, row 3 nothing happens, row 2 I will use row 1 and minus row 2. So row 2 A minus D, B minus E, and C minus F. C minus F, yeah. Okay, I use row 1 to minus off row 2 for the whole row 2. Okay, you can do this, add or subtract with another row. So these are the few rules that you need to know. You can use these in order for you to carry out your elementary row operation. So what is all this elementary row operation about? What is all these rules for? What is the interchange any two row, multiply a row by scalar, add or subtract with another row? So actually, this is a way, okay, you can imagine like this is a game. Okay, this is actually a game. Okay, and for you to play this game, what is the goal of the game? The goal of the game is to find out the inverse of a 3x3 matrix. We are learning about, usually we are using this for a 3x3 matrix. And to find out the inverse of a 3 by 3 matrix, it's not like last time you use a formula like the 1 over AD minus BC, that formula for you to find out inverse or 2 by 2 matrix. In STPM, we usually learn about 3 by 3 matrix. For example, this, how do we find the inverse for this? Okay, there's no formula. We don't learn any formula for us to find the inverse of a matrix. So in order for us to find out what is the inverse of the matrix, we use the strategy to find, which is the ERO, okay, elementary row operation. Okay, the strategy to find inverse using ERO is very simple. You just follow the rule. The first one is that you need to, it's too dark already. First one, you have to create 1 0 0 in the first column. Okay, you might be blur on the explaining part, but later when we do question, you'll be fine one. So you see, initially we want to create 1 0 0, means like this is your matrix. The first column we want it to be 1 0 0. I don't care what the others are. The others is what number, I don't care. I just know that I want to create 1 0 0 in the first column. How to create it? I use all the rules that I listed out here. I can either do interchange any two row, I can multiply a row by a scalar, I can add or subtract with another row, as long as I can get what I want here. 1 0 0. Usually we follow the sequence lah. This one, then done already, I get 1 already, and then I go to the second one, I get 0. After the second 0 done, then I go to this one, third one. So we follow the sequence. After we finish the first step, then we proceed with the second step. The second step is we create a random number and 1 and 0 in the second column. You might be blur, but it's okay. You can copy this down first. Okay, what is this? So you already know we've already created 1 0 0 in the first column, so already 1 0 0 here. It shouldn't change, it still remain as 1 0 0. And then here we will get a star, means any random number lah. I don't care any number that I get 5, I get 7, I get 9, I don't care. I just know that in the second step I need to get 1 in the middle and 0 at the bottom for the second column. I don't care about what is the other number. I just need to know I need to get 1 in the middle, 0 at the bottom there in the second column. Third step, very simple. Create a 1 in the third column, in the corner here. So we get this already, right? 1 0 0, any random number, 1 0. This is any random number, and 1. We want to create a 1 here. This is the third step. And the fourth step, we go up. And we create 2 zeros on the top. Okay, create 2 zeros on the top above the 1 in the third column. Okay, you want to create 0 0 here, 1 0 0, here is any random number, 1 0 1, and we want to create 0 and 0 here. Okay, and the last one, finally make the middle one become 0. Link, okay, above 1 in the second column. So you get this. you get back identity. Okay, so how do we do? Okay, let's try. So this is the step. First step, make sure you get 1 0 0 here. Second step, 1 0 in the second column. Third step, make sure you get 1 in the third column, just the bottom there only. The star means it's all random number, I don't care, it can be any number also can. Okay, and then 0 0 above 1 in the third column, and then last one 0. We look at one example here. Look at example 3.7, which is basically this lah. So how we find very simple. You need to follow my step. My step is like the most standard way for you to answer exam. See, this one you must first, okay, the question is find out what is A inverse lah. Okay, find out what is A inverse by using ERO. To find inverse using elementary row operation. ERO means elementary row operation. Okay, the method, the name of the method. Okay, how? So you need to first write this first. A and then a vertical line I equals to, A means the matrix A, I means the identity I. So matrix A I'll write it here. And then identity I write here. Okay, so why do we need to write this? Our goal is to go and make this side to become identity. Once this side has become identity, then this side will automatically becomes the A inverse. So that is why what we were doing, we were trying to make all this for what? All this for what? To make until become identity for what? Is because the moment we get identity here, this is our A inverse. Our goal is to go and transform all the way until this one becomes inverse. Identity. And then this one will automatically becomes the inverse. Okay, so we always focus on here. Create the 1 0 0. Second step, create 1 0. Third step, create 1. Fourth step, 0 0. And last one here becomes 0. Then the moment it becomes like this will be our A inverse. So this is our goal. Okay, so how do we go and transform this thing to become identity? Then we go back to our 3 rules that we learned just now. You can either interchange any 2 row, multiply a row by a scalar, or you want to add or subtract with another row also can. As long as you fulfill all these criteria here lah. Okay, we'll see. So you see I have 3 methods, right? I can start to do already one. I can either interchange with any row. First step is what? Create 1 0 0, right? So I do 1 by 1. First one is to create 1 here, right? I need to create a 1 here. So how do I create a 1 there? How can 2 become 1? I can use the first rule, right? Interchange with any row. This one already got 1 here. I can interchange both of this. Row 1 exchange with row 2. So what I will write is like this. 1 big arrow, and on top I'll write row 1 interchange with row 2. Means row 1 and row 2 switch. Row 1, row 2 switch, what happened? Row 3 remain the same. So I copy row 3. Copy the one that has nothing changed so that you don't make any mistake. Okay, so what you get? You get row 1 become row 2. So row 1 is here now. Sorry, 2 negative 1 1 and 1 0 0, and then 1 negative 1 negative 1 0 1 0. Done. This is already 1. What's the second one? Create 0 here, 0 here. So I can do it both at the same time. So how do I make 2 to become 0? What else can I do? interchange any two rows. I don't have 0 also. I don't have 0. There's no 0 here. So I cannot interchange. Multiply a row by a scalar. What can I multiply to become 0? I can only multiply 0 to get 0, right? But that is not so nice. If you multiply it becomes 0, the whole thing becomes 0 already. So why not we go and subtract? We can add or subtract with another row, right? We can do this both at the same time. Multiply a row by a scalar and add or subtract with another row. So you see, what I do is, first, I will multiply. Okay, I will decide to use row 2 to minus off row 1. But the row 1, I multiply by 2. Why I need to do this? Because I want to get 0 here. So you see, if row 2, let's focus on here. Our main concern is to get 1, 0, 0 first. Let's not care about the other numbers here. Don't care. Don't look. Okay, I want to create a 0 here. We look at here first, 0. In the 0 here. So, how do I get a 0? Think of 2 minus 2. How do I get this 2? This 2 is already here. Okay, easy. So this is basically row 2. The 2 minus 2, this is the row 2. How do I get another 2 here? I only got 1. So for me to get 2 here, I need to multiply the 1 by 2 lah. So 2 times row 1. So 2 times 2, I get 0. So this one I change for row 2. Same goes to row 3. Row 3 minus 2 times row 1 for row 3. Multiply by a scalar and subtracting at the same time. I use rule number 2 and rule number 3 at the same time. You can do that. Okay, you can do that. So I will get okay, row 1 has nothing to do, so copy first. Row 1 copy first, and row 2 will become row 2 minus 2 row 1. So for this part, right, I want you to go to your calculator, take out your calculator, and then set up an equation in your calculator. How? So you go and look at this one. This will gonna be your x, and this will be your y. X minus 2y. Write it out. X minus 2y. Okay. X minus 2y. So x will be your row 2. Y will be your row 1. If you don't know how to find y, okay, y you can type alpha, and then you type this. If you see this symbol, type alpha and SD, then you get the letter y already. Okay, so x minus 2y, and then you press this button, calc. Okay, it's right beside of the alpha button. Press calc, and then they will ask you what is x, what is y. So x is row 2. Row 2 is this one. Y is row 1. So 2, and then insert equal, and then y, put in 1, and then equal, and then press equal again, then you should get 0. I mean, our goal is to get 0, right? So we get it 0. So we are now doing for row 2, continue. -1, -1. So type in calc again, x equals -1, y equals -1, equal, you get 1. Okay, keep on going. X equals to 1, y equals to -1. Press calc again, x equals to 1, y equals -1, equal, then you get 3. And continue, 1 and 0, x equals to 1, y equals to 0, and then you get 1. And then again until you get all the value there lah. Okay, and then the last one is 0, 0. 0, 0, no need to press, for sure 0. Okay, so since row 3 also use the same formula, because row 3 minus 2 row 1, they are the same thing, so we still use back the x minus 2y lah. But instead of inserting row 2 as your x, right? Now x become row 3 already. So all the x changed already. So x now becomes 2 and then y is still 1. So check. I know for sure it's 0, 1, but still check whether you make careless mistake or not. So okay, we get 0. If this you don't get 0, then this one all wrong already. I mean the one that you'll be getting later. All wrong already. You must get 0 and 0 here. You must follow lah. You must get 1, 0, 0. Finish the whole step first. 1, 0, 0. Okay, then continue. Second one. -2 and -1. Be careful. -2 and -1. The sequence matters. Okay, our x is row 3. Our y is row 1. So -2 and -1. 0. And just continue inserting. -1, -1, you get 1. Okay, and 0, 0, 0, 1. One and 0. Okay, so we have already finished the first step. We successfully get 1, 0, 0 here. And then luckily, coincidentally, in this case, we are supposed to what? Once we done already first step, we go to the second step, right? We should look for 1 and 0. But coincidentally, there's already 1, 0 here. Usually won't so nice one. The question will ask us to do more working on, but coincidentally this question, once we finish the first step, suddenly second step also done already. And you realize the next step is what? After this 1, 0 settle, is to create 1 in the third column. And then 1 already appeared here. So we successfully skip the step 2 and step 3. So it's like very easy. So we skip step 2 and step 3 already straight away. I mean not technically not skip because we already achieved it, right? But usually we should work on our way to achieve 1 here and then 0 here after doing finish this. But coincidentally 1, 0 and 1 appeared suddenly. So right now we focus on the next one. Already got 1 here. What's the next one? We'll get 0, 0 above. 0, 0. Our goal is to create identity. You must follow the sequence. Must follow the sequence. It must go in this way. Here, and then here, and then here, and then go up, and then last one. Must follow the sequence. It should be like that lah. It's better in like that lah. Because you don't really want to change the 1 here. That's why we need to go down. I don't know how to explain this lah. We later we meet one example, then we will see the problem lah. Because later you want to not change this, right? You want to make sure that 1 is still remain as 1. Later you do here interchange here, then suddenly here become 3 back or 5 change to something else. We don't want that to happen. We want it to remain 1 the whole time. Once we are done with this, once we are changing this, all this, I still want this guy to remain as 1. So that's why we need to follow the sequence. And after that, create 0, 0. 0, 0 here. How to create 0? There's nothing for me to interchange. Okay, so the next one I can think of multiplying a scalar. What can I multiply to become 0? Multiply 0, man? No. So I can subtract 3 minus 3. How can I minus 3? I can multiply this by a 3 first. So this one get 3 already. I use the row 2 minus row 1. I use row 2 minus row 1. You might be asking, so can I use row 3 minus row 2? Technically, yes, because you get 0. But you have to think of the previous case. If you want to use row 3 to minus row 2, this one will affect here also. Row 3, 0, minus row 1, I will end up getting -1. So now this term here become -1 already. It's not 1 anymore. So you change this thing already. So usually we will use the top to minus the bottom one for us to not disturb the term before lah. We don't want to kacau the term before. We want it to keep as 1 0 0 and 1 0 here. We don't want to kacau. So usually we take the top minus the bottom, because if you use the top the 1, it whatever thing you multiply with 0 and subtract it it won't affect this. So that's why usually we take the top to minus the bottom. So instead of using this one times 3, right, and then instead of using row 2 minus row 3, instead of using row 3 minus row 2, I will use row 2 to minus row 3. Obviously row 3 must multiply by 3 first lah. Okay, so we don't do this, we do this. Use the top minus bottom. So multiply by 3 for the row 3. So row 2 minus 3 times of row 3. Change for row 2. I can do that at the same time for row 1. Row 1 wants to become 0 as well, right? What can I do? Add or subtract also. -1 plus 1, I straight away get 0. So row 1 plus row 2. Change for row 1. So notice that row 3 not changing at all, so copy first, all the row 3 copy first. Make sure you don't make any careless mistake. Okay, so now type in your calculator as usual. So we got a formula, x minus 3y. X is our row 2 and y is our row 3. So type in the calculator, x minus 3y, and press the calculate. So x is row 2. X is row 2. 0 and 1. Row 2 and row 3. 0 and 0. No need to press 0 0. 0 0 for sure 0. Second, 1 and 0. So you still get back 1. That's what we want, okay? 3 and 1. Try. Get 0. That's what we want. And then continue. 1 and 0. -2, -2. You get 4. Last one, 0 and 1. -3. Okay, second row settle. Let's go for the first row. First row is simple, no need calculator, because it's just row 1 plus row 2, right? Unless you're lazy to calculate lah. So I straight away calculate row 1 plus row 2. 1 plus 0, I get 1. -1 plus 0, I get -1. -1 plus 1, 0. 0 0 0. -2 plus 1, -1. 0 plus 1, 1. So we have successfully settled. 1 0 0 1 0 1 0 0. The last one goes to this. This one becomes 0. How can -1 become 0? Which step? I can just add both of these together. Add both of these together. So last one, row 1 plus row 2 once again for row 1. So I will get, okay, row 2 and row 3 copy first, because they are not changing anymore. Okay, row 1 plus row 2. 1 plus 0, -1 plus 1, 0 plus 0, 0 and 1, 3 and -2. So once you have successfully obtained an identity here, notice that this is the leading diagonal, all 1 and the rest are all 0, right? Means this is a identity. When this is an identity, automatically this will be the A inverse. So what we write, we started with an equal sign, right? Notice that we started with a equal sign, and then we have been using arrow the whole time. We never use equal at all. You don't go and write equal at the bottom. We never write equal. Equal only at the start and the ending part there. Equal, bracket, identity, and then this is your A inverse. So the question asks you to find A inverse. You must explicitly write it out. What is your A inverse? Your A inverse would be copy the whole thing on the right. This is your A inverse. 1, 3, negative 2, 1, 4, negative 3, and 0, negative 2, 1. Okay, this is your final answer. You don't stop here. All of the candidates, they stop here for what? This is just your elementary row operation. They are asking you for A inverse. You must tell them your final answer. It's like you ask the teacher, where's the toilet? And then the teacher tell you the answer. And then you really walk all the way to the toilet, and then you stop right in front and come back. So it's like you're doing nothing. You want to go toilet, you go to the in front of the toilet and you don't want to go in. So you must finish it. Tell them your final answer. Oh, A inverse is this. Don't stop here. This is just ERO. Continue to tell them your final answer. A inverse, you must write out answer explicitly. So this is how you carry out elementary row operation. Okay, this is very easy because it jumps a few steps already, like this case. Usually won't happen one. It will take very long step. So I explain one more example. I take from checkpoint. Checkpoint 3.2 and question K lah. Question 1K lah. They are all the same lah. All 3x3 matrix one, nothing special. So let's see. Alright. Matrix, let me call it as matrix A lah. Usually it will be denoted by a letter one lah. Follow the way I write lah. The whole answer scheme is look like this one. Follow the way. Don't go and change the arrow to equal sign. Don't do that. This is arrow, not equal sign. Only the last one I write it as equal sign. Means I successfully obtained in identity and A inverse at the right hand side. Okay, let's look at this. First, write like this first. A, vertical line, identity. Identity on the right hand side. Okay, see, first step to create 1, 0, 0. Very simple. What I can do straight away, interchange row 1 with row 3. Already got 1 ma, why need to think of something else? Don't need to subtract or multiply, don't need. Straight away interchange. So I interchange first row 1 with row 3. When row 1 interchange with row 3, nothing happens to row 2, right? So copy row 2 first. So you don't make any mistake lah when you copy back. Okay, row 1 written as row 3. So row 1 is 2, 3, 4, 100. 1, 2, 4, 0, 0, 1. Okay, settle. Second step, make these two become 0. I can do this both at the same time. How to get 0? 4 minus 4 lor. Or 4 minus 4 lah. This is the most simple way lah. There's no any other way also. 4 minus 4 for this, 2 minus 2 for this to get 0. So how do I get 4? Usually we use the bottom to minus the top in this case because it actually doesn't really matter for this because it doesn't really matter on this. You want to use top minus bottom also can. Means you want to multiply by 4 first and then you minus the bottom also can. So either way is fine lah. So I multiply by 4 first for row 1 so that I get a 4 here, right? And then I minus off this one, which is row 2. Change for row 2. At first it doesn't really matter, but after in the end, right, you must use top to minus bottom lah. After in the end, like when you are here, when you are doing here, you must use top minus bottom already. No lah, here lah. Around here, then you must use top minus bottom. You must think lah. You must think. Okay, and then if you really cannot think, right, then later you do back, you press calculator, you find out, the one before it appeared -1 or suddenly 0 become other thing, like it doesn't remain as 1 0 0 anymore, then you must go and change back lah. But usually think in advance lah, if not you want to waste so much time on the working there. Okay, on this 2 times row 1 minus row 3 for row 3. Okay, so row 1 no change at all, so copy row 1. Set out the formula 4x minus y. X is row 1, so type 1 and 4, get 0. Second one 2 and 3, get 5. 4 and 1, 15. 0 0 0 1, -1, 1 and 0, 4. Next one 2x minus y, so 2x minus y. Okay, now y is row 3 not row 2 anymore, so be careful don't sub the wrong thing. Row 3 is now your y, so 1 and 2 first. Of course you get 0, but you must check also so that you don't make any mistake there. 2 and 3, and then 4 and 4. Zero and 1, -1, 0 and 0, 1 and 0. Okay, settle 1 0 0 already. Second step 5 1, right? We make it to 1 and 0. Second step. So second step, I can see that I can interchange this both of these, right? So let me interchange. So you must think whether you interchange will it affect the front? Nothing will happen, right? Because 0 interchange with 0 is still the same thing, right? So we can interchange row 2 with row 3 now. Row 1 nothing happens, so copy first. Note that I didn't write equal sign. Don't write equal sign. No equal sign when I'm doing working. It's just a very big arrow and some small arrow on top. Okay, please be careful with that, because some candidate did that all their working correct one, all correct, get their final answer correct also. Just because they write something else here, they lose all their mark. So that's why I say be careful. Don't write equal sign. I never write equal sign in the middle here, all big arrow. Okay, interchange row 2 with row 3. So row 3 now becomes row 2, and row 2 becomes the row 3. Okay, so 1 here already. Now this one becomes 0. What do I do? 5 minus 5 lah. So I can use this one, top minus bottom also fine, bottom minus top also okay, because they are all 0, nothing will change. So I use top minus bottom. So 5 times row 2 minus row 3, change for row 3. So row 3 change only, so row 1, row 2 copy first. So formula 5x minus y, type this first. So row 2 is the x, row 3 is the y. So 0 0, for sure 0 lah. 1 and 5, 0. So 4 and 15, 5, -1 and 0, -5, 0 and -1, 2 and 4, 6. Alright, settle. 1 0 0 1 0. Next step, create 1 here. Create 1. How do I create 1 here? Think of a way. I can multiply by a scalar, or I can subtract. Let's try multiply it by a scalar. We haven't done that, right? I mean, we did multiply a scalar, but then how do we make 5 to become 1? What can I multiply to become 1? Usually we think of, we can divide by 5 to get 1, right? But can we divide? No. In matrix, we don't use the word divide. Instead, we use multiply by fraction. You want to get 1, right? Multiply by 1 over 5, lor. So you get 1. So let's use 1 over 5 times row 3 and C. Change for row 3. So everything multiply by 1 over 5. Just for row 3, because this is the second rule, remember? If you multiply, you can just multiply a row by a scalar. Even though the real rule, you multiply the whole matrix by a scalar, everyone you get back the whole scalar. Like multiply, everyone gets the constant, multiply by constant. But this one is ERO, so it's different. You have a special rule here. You can just multiply a row by a scalar. Scalar means constant. So row 1, row 2, nothing happened. Copy. So 0 multiplied by anything, no need to see already. This one -1. This one is 1 over 5. This one is 6 over 5. Okay. Next one. 0, 0 here. Very simple lah. They are all 4, right? So very simple. Use top minus bottom. So row 1 minus 4 row 3 change for row 1, same goes to row 2 minus 4 row 3 change for row 2. Okay, for them to get 0. 0 here. 0 here. So let's start. Row 3, nothing happened, so copy row 3. Okay. X minus 4y. So x will be row 1. So check first. X is row 1. And then y will be row 3. Okay. Still the same. So okay. Must make sure you type all this also. So you get back 1. That's what you want. You want to always make sure you get 1 0 1 0 here. Okay. So next one, 2 and 0. You get 2. 4 and 1. 0. Okay, that's what we want. 0 and -1. Don't type in the wrong row. X is row 1. Y is row 3. Be careful with all this. -1 and 6 over 5. -19 over 5. Then continue. Now, still the same formula, x minus 4y don't change, but now x is not row 1 anymore, it's row 2. So, 0, 0. And 1, 0. Okay, still 1, nothing changed. 4 and 1, 0. -1, -1. 3, 0 and 1 over 5. -4 over 5. And last one, 2 and 6 over 5. -14 over 5. Okay, settle almost. 1 0 0 1 0 1 0 0. Last one, change this to become 0. How to become 0 for this one? Use 2 to minus 2. So how do I create 2 here? How do I create 2? I multiply by 2. So row 1 minus 2 row 2 change for row 1. Row 2 and row 3 copy. Okay, now formula is x minus 2y. Okay, so 1 and 0, still 1, 2 and 1 you should get 0, 0 0, 4 and 3, -2, negative 4 over 5 with negative 4 over 5, 4 over 5, negative 19 over 5, and negative 14 over 5, 9 over 5. So successfully obtained identity on the left hand side, so this should be the A inverse. Okay, I wrote A, right? Yeah, so A inverse. If B, then B inverse. If C, then C inverse. Depends on the question. So write it out explicitly. A inverse should be negative 2, 4 over 5, 9 over 5, 3, negative 4 over 5, negative 14 over 5, negative 1, 1 over 5, 6 over 5. One quick tip for you to check your final answer. In exam, right, there's no answer for you to check. How do you know if you're correct? I teach you one way. So go to a calculator, you press menu. First step, press menu. I write it in mind map like that, like this, in a circle way. Go to number 4, which is matrix. Then they ask you about define matrix, right? You just choose matrix A . Doesn't really matter. Just press 1, matrix A. And then number of rows. We're doing 3 by 3, right? So 3 row and 3 column . So fill up all the values. They're asking for matrix A . So go and fill up all the matrix A value first. What is matrix A? This one. Fill up the value according in this sequence. Go from here to here. So fill up 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 1, 1, 2, 4. Press equal . Okay, once you're done filling up the value, what you do is press AC first. AC means the off button there, but don't press shift . Press AC only, don't press shift. Just press AC. You follow the step and then press OPTN. OPTN under the shift button there. Then they ask you about a lot of stuff, right? You press 3. You're doing matrix A, right? So press 3, matrix A. Press the value 3, the number 3. Then you will come out like this one. You come out something like this. Okay, what you do? Go and find this thing. Go and find this. Do you see this? It's at the sine cos tangent there, the beside left hand side of sine. You see this? Press this. Press this. And then you notice it will become like this. Means inverse . Press equal sign. And then you press the equal sign. And pops up the final answer. That is the A inverse. That is the A inverse answer. So this is how you check your answer. So you can use the right. Okay, I don't know what you call this button . Okay, press right, left to go and check all the answer . Because they're all in decimals . We are in fraction, right? So how to check? So press 1 by 1 to check . So negative 2, correct. 4 over 5, 9 over 5, go down. Negative 14 over 5, left. Negative 4 over 5, 3, negative 1, 1 over 5, 6 over 5. So this is how you check your answer in exam. And I tell you one thing, I never check my answer after I finish . I check my answer before I'm doing it. Why you want to check answer once you're done? You check answer before. You get the answer first. Why so slow? Take the answer first, write it out as your final answer, because you know confirm A inverse looks like that already . Write your final answer out in the paper, and once you are doing I tell you when you are doing ERO it will take super duper long . You see, I explain one question, I don't know use how long already. I mean explaining will take very long lah, but then even at the first you start to do you take very long also one. So I tell you some tips for you to find out. You must go and find out what is the final answer first. How to find? This is the step I already write here. This is the step. Okay? And then write the final answer out. Write it at the side. As you must look at it the whole time. Write it at your question paper also can. Write it out. And then as you are doing once you are proceeding step by step, you for sure you know already one. Once you've done the first, okay, wait. When can you start checking your answer? Let me think. Okay, once you are at this stage, once you already change the one here, right? Once here already, remember we learned about okay, never mind. Here, you get 1 0 0 1 0. Once you finish, the moment you finish this step, means you are at this stage lah. You get a 1 here. This is the step where you get 1 here. This row the third row here is already confirmed, won't change anymore already one. So the moment you are at this stage where you already successfully create a 1 here, the 1 here, start checking already. So we check, okay, -1 correct, 1/5 correct, 6/5 also correct. If one of them fail you immediately stop here. Immediately stop at this step and go back and faster and check. Which step wrong already one? Which step wrong? All the student they do finish already. Now I check my final answer, then I find out there's no negative here. Then you GG. You need to start the whole thing. You need to find out where is the mistake at. There's so many of them. Everyone have different method for you to do ERO. So some people they do one by one, like they don't do like me 2 step in once. They do longer some more. They need to take how many thousand minutes for them to solve, to find out the mistake. That's why I say write out the final answer first. When you write out a final answer, once you're at this step, you know for sure you won't touch here anymore already one, because you go up After that you go up to make this 0 0, right? So you won't touch the bottom anymore. Means the bottom, this one will be the final answer already one. Faster check it. Once this one becomes 0, faster check it. Okay? Because this one becomes 0, here still can change to 0 so it's not the final answer yet. But usually once this one is correct already, right? 6 number correct usually. Should be correct already one. But you still need to check of course. Okay, so these are some tips for you to do faster in exam. So ERO is this.